What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Thursday. It's going to be a big day, busy day for A to Z Sports as the Music City Bowl is in town. Vols hosting, I guess not quite hosting, technically Tennessee's the away game against Purdue, but we've got a lot of things we're doing here today throughout this day, Thursday, on the show. We're talking about what happened yesterday with Logan Ryan's comments towards the Titans fan base. So we'll play you that video a few times throughout the morning and get your guys' reaction on how you took those comments yesterday from Logan Ryan, now with the Giants, of talking about his time with the Tennessee Titans. It's been the talk of the fan base, talk of the Nashville media circle for almost a full 24 hours now. So now is our first time to react to what Logan Ryan had to say, blasting the Titans fan base. And then I think Zach came up with a good conversation to follow up this Logan Ryan comment with, where is the Titans fan base right now? We always like using scales of 1 to 10 to judge the nuance in between of where is the Titans fan base right now. 10 being what it was when the Adelphia Coliseum was rocking and it was the hardest place to play in the NFL. 1 being the Ken Whisenhunt era, where they went 5-27 in 32 games as Ken Whisenhunt was the head coach here in Nashville. So we're going to have a good conversation. We'll talk about what we've got going on today with the bowl game, Vols Purdue later on. We've got, I think, 4 live shows today, Zach. We've got us. We've got a special version of the Pick Show at 1 o'clock, a Vols bowl game live stream at 2, and then Buck wraps up the day with A to Z Sports Prime Time at his normal 8 o'clock Central Time. So a busy day, Zach, and we've got a tailgate to get to after this show. So welcome in. Hope your Thursday's off to a good start.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that tailgate today throughout the course of this show. We want everybody is invited, right? Whether you're going to the game. Look, I'm not going to the game. I'm not going to the Music City Bowl. I'm going to watch it in the comfort of my own home, but I am going to the tailgate. I'll be there. You should be there. We do have a big day today, a lot to talk about. I'm pretty fired up, to be honest, about this conversation. So we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will tweet out those YouTube links throughout the course of the show. So a lot of people going to YouTube. We love that. Subscribe to our channel. I posted that on the chat there. I see the chat even before we get started, which is great, right? We got chat on chat crime, which is great. People are chatting, and that's the benefit of maybe subscribing to our YouTube channel. More people are driving there. Also on Facebook, the real OGs, as we call them, they've been there since day one. Our Facebook following, which has grown and continues to grow, which is great. We appreciate all of our Facebook fans. Make sure you guys share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing. We've got you covered. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. How that works out is you guys share the show. So big day talking Titans, sprinkling a little bit of Vols promotion. You may be you may be hungry this weekend. We'll talk more about that. And plus we got the magic bucket. I got my stickers. They're hopefully within reach. We got a magic bucket to end the show today.
That's right.
So
I got to pull the bucket out. The bucket's under my little side table here, so I got to pull the bucket out. I almost forgot to do that. Well, I did forget to do that until now. All right, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM and Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube, all over the place. We're Nashville's on-demand sports.network, and we go live every weekday morning. Got to thank our sponsors because they truly make it happen for our show, and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the Nashville area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your car buying process by checking them out in Lebanon or seeing them at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So yesterday, Luke was in for me yesterday morning. So I didn't see this until later in the evening of what happened with Logan Ryan just side blasting the Titans fan base overall in a Giants media availability. So let's go ahead and just jump into it and play the full clip with the question from the New York Giants media member and then Logan Ryan's entire response for full context of what happened with this. And then we'll dive into the conversation and get everybody's reactions.
Fans are upset. They're angry. They're disappointed in the season and really the last few years. I'm wondering how much you and the players in general realize it, hear it, or talk about it even at all.
No, we realize it, and it's just not okay. Their reaction is okay. What the product isn't okay right now, and I take that to heart as a leader on this team. I haven't felt like the preparation and the work has always generated to the results on the field, and I understand that, and I take my share of ownership on that. I just try to symbolize the way to play and how I play and control what I can control. I can't control the positions I'm putting on the field. I can't control the score all the time, but I just try to play every snap hard, especially last game, finishing that game off and stuff like that. But no, I understand that we have a great fan base, a ton of tradition. It's a privilege to play here. I played in a franchise in Tennessee where the fan base was non-existent. Like, you couldn't even get fans to the games. You had to put tickets half off to get fans to the games. So I understand the tradition of this area, the history of the NFC East, what these rivalries mean with Philly and Dallas and the Washington football team. It means a lot. I mean, it's what people talk about day in and day out. So I'm here to be part of that change. I'm here to demand better. I'm here to play better. And I'm here to, hopefully going forward, start bringing some of that championship and playoff habits to the team, because I believe you need to have that before you actually make that. So I'm trying to be a part of the solution the best I can. I take it very seriously, and I hear what the fans are saying. I understand the frustration, and I'm equally as frustrated. So I'm going to try my best to finish this year off right and go into next season and look for changes.
All right, so there you go. That was the full comments from Logan Ryan. So, Zach, you mentioned you're pretty fired up for this topic. What do you think? And the comments are
Does
saying
Logan Ryan realize he's 30? He doesn't have a lot more time. Like, to it's more about the Giants. The restructure of the Giants, they're in shambles. They're deciding whether they're going to, Joe Judge is still going to be or Daniel Jones. They don't even know, right? So you talk about playoff habits. I thought that was eye-opening. The one thing he did get right was the New York Giants tradition, but that's just based on the history of that football team. That has nothing to do with anything. My real issue is the one word. We play the one word game a lot. When he said non-existent, that is false. Like, non-existent means not present. That means he was playing in basically a COVID year that wasn't a COVID year when nobody was at the games. He wasn't even present when they were really, really bad. Like, that I also think is the issue. I do believe that Titans fans should feel offended by this. And look, we cover the team. I've covered the team for over a decade. I've been in the locker room. I've talked to Logan Ryan. I think I don't know if I've been to one of his charities events. Like, it's ridiculous.
We A to Z Sports have promoted a lot of his events because, look, they're great causes and causes that Zach and I and Buck and everybody else are behind.
But this is a bad look that I believe, like, it obviously did not even need to take place. Like, what are you talking about? Welcome to New York. Giants fans are always pissed off. So you coming out and like saying, we hear you, fans, we hear you, and throwing shade essentially at another fan base really doesn't make any sense. And I would be curious, Austin, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this. I'd be curious if Logan Ryan didn't wake up this morning and regret what he said.
Yeah, I'm sure he regrets what he said. Was he factual? Are the Titans actually... No, they're not having half off tickets. And I saw several screenshots of people saying that the Titans tickets are actually more expensive right now than New York Giants tickets this season. Now, one team is 10-5, the other team is 4-11 or 4 and whatever they are with the New York Giants. And so ticket prices fluctuate like that. But I mean, it's the non-existent word was completely extreme. It was very unnecessary. And so let's go ahead. We'll play this. But he used it. That's for sure. So we'll go ahead and play the comment again and get you guys and your comments more involved. Were Logan Ryan's comments about the Titans fan base fair or foul? Were Logan Ryan's comments about the Titans fan base fair or foul? But real quick, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse and Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area. Simply head to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. There's a lot of different ways that Renters Warehouse can help you out. And that's by creating extra cash flow for you and your family, maybe creating long-term equity, which means long-term wealth and retirement plan ready by renting out your property instead of selling it. Selling it might be for you, but it doesn't have to be. Renting out your property and turning to rent estate and letting Renters Warehouse do all the work for you is a great way for extra cash flow, like I mentioned. Also, if you're looking to rent out a property for yourself, or maybe a son or daughter, new graduate, as new graduates are looking to enter the workforce. If you had a graduate in early December, renterswarehouse.com has inventory across the mid-state, all different types of houses right there, renterswarehouse.com.
BetMGM, that's where you need to go. We are powered by BetMGM this morning. Code ATOZ Sports. They are the king of sports books. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 for new users. You can bet on maybe that Music City Bowl. Could have won money on Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners last night. I didn't watch any of that game, but I did see the final score coming in and beating down Oregon. You got plenty of bowl games on the horizon. Download the app today on your Apple or Android app store. BetMGM, promo code ATOZ Sports.
All right, here live on this Thursday, let's play the shortened version of the Logan Ryan comments strictly about the Titans fan base where he sideswiped them yesterday.
Stand out. We have a great fan base, a ton of tradition. It's a privilege to play here. I played in a franchise in Tennessee where the fan base was non-existent. Like, you couldn't even get fans to the games. You had to put tickets half off to get fans to the games. So I understand the tradition of this area, the history of the NFC East, what these rivalries mean with Philly and Dallas.
So there are his comments. The Titans fan base non-existent. Is it fair or foul of Logan Ryan's comments about the Titans fan base being non-existent and having to sell tickets at half price to get fans to show up? Zach, what are the comment sections saying?
Ronnie says foul. Kenny says foul. Louis says fair.
I want to know. I think it's easy. If people answer foul, I think we know why. I want to hear people give us the explanation on why you would think it's fair, because I think that's where the conversation needs to extend, right?
Well, and we've got a couple of those. Donald says foul because it was completely unnecessary. And, Big Ten Jeff comes in and says, I say fair. He was a player in it. Titans fans will say it's foul, though. So his reasoning is that he was actually a player, right? He felt it. He was on the field. That's his justification. Speed Racer 4 says foul. Let's see. Steven says foul because Logan Ryan is on a team that basically is screwed right now. They're a 4-win team. Things are not going well. Austin, you and I have both been in locker rooms on 4-win teams. You kind of, you try to avoid players saying like that, right? The players try to avoid saying things like we just heard. Kane says, who cares? And I've seen a lot of that, like, who cares, focus on the Dolphins. Look, man, this is an attack at the Titans fan base. I think that the Titans fans should care. And I'll kind of expand on that here in a little bit. Valentino doubles down, says Logan is irrelevant, like an ex-girlfriend speaking on your new life. Ooh, Valentino kind of brings up a good point, right? Ex-girlfriend's moved on, and now she's spitting something about where you are. The Titans are in the driver's seat of the AFC South, and Logan Ryan is 30 years old in a New York Giants locker room, and they're 4-11, not competing with the Philadelphia Eagles and not competing with the Dallas Cowboys, who are vying for playoff seeds, right?
Not competing with Washington.
and that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So Kirk says fair. Jeremy says sadly fair, but could change very soon.
Well, okay, let's comment on that, on the sadly fair side of things. So I think his comments are foul because they were completely unnecessary and had nothing to do with the point he was making. It shows that Logan Ryan and the Titans organization, mainly probably the GM, the front office, and the coaching staff, that decided to not bring him back after his contract expired. I think it shows that he still is holding something against the Titans.
He wasn't cut, though.
I know, but he was told that they were not interested in bringing him back. So I know that he wasn't cut. He played. I'm just telling you what.
That doesn't make any sense to me, though, right? Like, Logan Ryan is a grown-ass man. He's 30 years old. He knows the business. He signed a big contract, 3-year,
3 years
$30 million.
for $10 million a piece, and he earned it. He played great. Like, I think Logan
He
Ryan
started his career in New England, Austin, where like that is the most business-oriented franchise in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I understand because the guy was asking for like $12 million, or he was asking for the same money 3 years later when he was 3 years older, and he didn't get that anywhere. And then he changed positions to a position that the Titans did not have a need for at the time, which was safety, where Kevin Byard, a younger Kenny Vaccaro at the time, and now Amani Hooker have that position on lockdown. There was no need for Logan Ryan moving forward. And Mike Vrabel said that position, the slot corner, needs to get more vertical. And Logan Ryan, as he gets older, is less vertical with lack of speed as a 30-year-old than he was in his mid-20s when he played great football for the Titans. And this is why I think his comments were foul. He played great football for the Titans. And I think Titans fans really, really appreciated the way Logan Ryan approached the game of football on the field and his approach off the field with all the different charities and causes that he worked hard and continues to work hard in setting up in Nashville and continues to provide in Nashville. And I think Titans fans took it personally. And I think I took this personally. And I will also say that my tweet last night was foul for involving his charities in this, because I said it's a pretty Bush League comment to call them non-existent. I'm sure your charities felt their existence in the Titans fan base. I think I took it too personally. I should not have taken that personally.
You took it personally, but I don't think that you went too far. I actually support your tweet. I'm going to go give it a like right now. Boom. You just got a like from me, like from Bada_Bingham. I disagree with your assessment, Austin. I love your tweet. Austin, you're getting the love of the show because of what you did, in my opinion. Because it is the fact I thought it was well put together, because he's sitting there, he sounds like a bitter old man. And this is actually in your thread. I was actually going to bring this up about how somebody brought his tweet up that years ago, May 5th, 2020. My chapter in Tennessee has come to a close. To @Titans fans, thank you for all the love, the energy, and support. This past season is what led to an epic run. Logan Ryan speaking out of both sides of his mouth, and I got a big problem with that.
Orlando says that was his tweet, right?
that is Orlando. Yeah. Orlando. Credit to Orlando. A couple of people responded, but I'll give credit to Orlando. Quote, the energy and support this past season is what led to an epic run. And then now you're spewing this BS. And it's December 30th. It's been like 2 years. Get over it. Like, the charity thing, Austin, I think holds a lot of weight, because when you ask a community, and keyword community, Austin, we are in community. This is what A to Z Sports is about. Everybody watching this show right now, everybody that will show up to this tailgate at Gate 1, they are a part of our community in some form or fashion. If we ask them to donate to a charity or support a charity, we are asking our community to do something good. But you know what, Austin, you and I will not turn around 2 years from now and talk bad about this community. That is my issue. This is extremely foul. And when you say non-existent, that's why you get the love of the show for your tweet. This community was existent when he was asking for money for a good cause, when he was supporting all the pups and trying to find them homes. I love that. But don't sit there and spit in the face of your ex, essentially the Nashville and Middle Tennessee community, for no damn reason. This is a bitter, you can see kind of like the pot shot in his tone. Well, play the short clip one more time. Hey, people in our community, listen to this man's tone when he talks about non-existent.
Understand that we have a great fan base, a ton of tradition. It's a privilege to play here. I played in a franchise in Tennessee where the fan base was non-existent. Like, you couldn't even get fans to the games. You had to put tickets half off to get fans to the games. So I understand the tradition of this area, the history of the NFC East, what these rivalries mean with Philly and Dallas.
You couldn't even get tickets to the game. Did you hear that inflection in his tone? And that matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tone is very important. It tells you, like right now, my tone is very authoritative because I'm very passionate about this BS that he spewed yesterday, that I doubled down, Austin. I think this man woke up this morning in his $1 million house, and I think there's some regret on what he said, because there was no damn reason for a 4-win 30-year-old safety to sit there and spit at a community that supported him, paid him $30 million. They didn't cut him. They moved on.
No, he got all
Sourpuss.
of his guaranteed. He got all of his guaranteed money. I'm sure he got bonuses because he played really well and he did a lot of good things. And then it was over, right? And it still feels like he's holding something against the organization. So a couple comments real quick. I Will says, we all open our mouths when we feel personally attacked. Fans in the chat saying foul is because they can't buy or afford tickets, and other fans saying fair because they sell their tickets that they purchased personal. And then Nick says fair. If Titans fans wouldn't sell their tickets to make a profit and buy them to actually go to the games, then it would be foul. But I also do think that there is a different situation with the Titans attendance and the city of Nashville. It's not like, I honestly don't think it's season ticket holders who wear their jerseys and team issued polos and go get all the gear that are selling their tickets to opposing fans. It's more of it is the secondary ticket market buying up the non-sold PSLs, selling that to the highest price. So it's not you guys who are selling the tickets to opposing fans. It's the businesses who are flipping tickets for profits, selling to fans. And plus, what is Nashville? It's what, the it city for like 10 years now, or it's a transplant city. So that's something, if your team that you followed for your entire life comes to town, you're going to go buy a ticket. If you want to make a weekend out of your away game schedule, Nashville's a city that you circle because you know you're going to have fun. And so what do? You go get the Airbnb, you buy the ticket, you go to the game and you have a blast. You go to Broadway after and before and you have fun. But it's not the Titans fans that are selling the tickets. It's the business that is Titans tickets to opposing fans that are doing this.
But again, everybody has receipts. Logan Ryan said himself, the energy and support this past season is what led to an epic run. He put the AFC title run on the Tennessee Titans fan base. He's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. You can't do that. We got receipts on the internet, pal.
And I'll say this. It's unfortunate. Like right now, I believe the Titans have a top, I think they're like top 12 in attendance this year, percentage wise. Like the Titans are doing well with attendance this season. And the Giants are not. The Giants are bad. Titans are good. So that's typically how it goes. But unfortunately for the Titans, that AFC Championship run happened in January of 2020. The following season, where fans were not allowed to fill the stadium and were not allowed to get in there. And then this season, unfortunately, the best season in 15 years was followed by 2 seasons during a pandemic where the Tennessee Titans were a lot of bit hurt by the ability to take advantage of what that great playoff run was to build on their fan base in a natural way by getting people in the stadium. I do think it's unfortunate timing and just bad luck by the Titans to have that great run and not be able to capitalize on the growth of the fan base for the 2 years afterwards, like they could have if this playoff run happened and there was no pandemic, right? That we all wish.
But Austin, you speak with your words, and the word he used was non-existent.
Sure.
Non-existent means not present. That means that they were not there. And he's comparing it like he's been in New York for like just a snap of a finger. Come on, really? And Jacqueline says this. Zach, he's talking about fans showing up at games, not supporting charities. Don't compare apples and oranges. And Jacqueline, those are one and the same because those are the same people that were supporting the charities or the same Titans fans. They're the same people. So
Okay,
these are apples. They may be
get
galas. They may be different types of apples, but they are still in the same genre. They're still Titans fans that supported and bought 26 jerseys. They were still the ones that sent support when he broke his leg after he had a stellar season in New York. They still supported him then. And so it just made no sense to take a pot shot at an entire fan base. Austin, we can all agree the Titans fan base, because of the history of the franchise and honestly the wins and losses, right? They went through a spell where they missed on quarterbacks. Jake Locker sucked. Vince Young was no good. That was a 8-year portion that they lost a ton of fans, right? Between McNair and I would even say Mariota, because it did give them some refreshment of maybe this guy can play. Ended up he couldn't. They found Ryan Tannehill. We all know the story. We're not sitting here saying that this is a top 10 fan base, but don't say non-existent when he wasn't even there for the 2 and 3 win years.
Yeah, he was there for 9-7, 9-7, 9-7 AFC Championship game.
I wouldn't have said a damn word. I would have probably switched my answer to fair if Logan Ryan would have been here when Antonio Andrews was the starting running back or Zach Mettenberger was taking the snaps. I would have probably said fair, but he wasn't. I'm kind of pissed off about this. This is ridiculous. This guy's a joke. And he's 30. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
It's foul because it was 100% unnecessary. He could have gotten his point across about the Giants fan base without involving his former employer and former franchise and former fan base. But I do Jacqueline's comment, who brings up the apples and oranges, too. He's going after the fans that don't come to games, not the ones who support his charities and do come to games. I get Jacqueline's point.
He said non-existent. That means no one's
hold
at
on,
the games.
I'm not done. Non-existent is what is the entire key word, right? Non-existent is it. It didn't make sense for him to do this. But I also understand that he is not talking to you guys who go to games, who support the team, who do support his charities and causes. He is talking, and he's bitter about the franchise and the organization.
He is talking to them. Austin, that's where I disagree. He's bitter. Yes, you're right. I disagree. He is talking to the Titans fan base. He literally called them non-existent. What is the sole job, Austin, of a fan? Is to be present. That is literally, to define what a fan is to be present in some form or fashion. And he is sitting there calling them the exact opposite. He may have misspoken, but that's not our problem. That's Logan Ryan's problem. He said it in a press conference.
And I'm actually, you mentioned, I'm curious. You mentioned that you wonder if he's waking up feeling some regret. I'm curious to see, just genuinely curious to see if he says anything about this or if he just lets it fly.
Look, anybody who knows me, I live by one saying. I live by a couple, but my main saying is say what you mean and mean what you say. Because words are important. That's why I hate Twitter. I hate Twitter because people say stuff that they don't mean because they can hold and hide behind their little computer or their iPhone. That pisses me off. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Logan Ryan said non-existent. That means he meant non-existent. If I was a Titans fan, I would be ticked off. This guy would be a loser in my book, and he's bitter. And the charity thing, I double down on that. I agree. This is a community. Fan bases are community. They care about their city. They care about their team. It's a $1 billion organization that brings Nashville together. Whether they're a 2-win team or a 10-win team, it doesn't matter. It still is a fan base. And every NFL city feels that. And so that's where I'm at. I mean, we can move on from this conversation and talk more about the fan base. But Logan Ryan, you sound like a scorned ex. And nobody wants to be the scorned ex. And that's what he is.
All right, so let's move to this next portion of the conversation. And that, I think this is interesting. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is the Titans fan base now? 10 being the Adelphia Coliseum days, where it was the hardest place to win a game in the NFL for opponents, and 1 being the Ken Wisenhunt era, where they went 5-27, and during Ken Wisenhunt's time as Titans head coach. So scale 1 to 10, where are they? Let's add some conversation and context and nuance to this. But first, I tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
A to Z Sports, we've got Wilson County Hyundai as a presenting sponsor for a reason. That is to help you guys out when you're thinking about purchasing a vehicle. We've all purchased a car in our life. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. If you are thinking about one, it takes a little bit of time. You want to make the right decision. You also want to be smart about it. You don't want to pay a high price for something that doesn't have that value. That's the best part about Wilson County Hyundai. When you pay the price, and you get a great deal at Wilson County Hyundai, fuel efficiency. They also have the luxury. That Palisade is unbelievable. You've got third row seating. It is the perfect family car and SUV to get your family around. Maybe you're not looking for an SUV. Maybe you're looking for a four-door sedan. The Sonata, fuel efficiency. Again, you're paying up front, but you're saving in the long run. I've had my Sonata for now 10 years. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to take a test drive or look at their inventory. It's wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
A to Z Sports, don't forget we are powered every morning by BetMGM. They are the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first deposit and your first bet. I've got a couple bets today for the Music City Bowl. I've got Tennessee overall -5.5. The spread's up to 6.5 now. I also took Tennessee -4 in the first half at BetMGM. So again, use that code ATOZ Sports. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first bet after your first deposit. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Reward issued on non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. Zach, we've gotten our 1 through 10 here. The question is, where is the Titans fan base now, 1 through 10? 10 being Adelphia Coliseum and 1 being Ken Wisenhunt era. What are the comments saying?
Chris comes in. We start off high saying 9, 6.9 Stephen King. That's a pretty nice one. Orlando says 7. Chris says 6. Titans Rossi says 8.5. Folio Society Reviewer says 3. 8.5 from Ahmad. Noah says 7.6. I kind of like these very specific numbers because I think we asked a very specific question, honestly. Jerry Lowe says 7.5. Louis says 8.889. Ahmad 7 and 8 right now. Amy goes with 9. Chris says 9. Tyree says 6. Dom says 6. David says 7. Hold your horses, Randy. We'll get there a little bit later. 6.5 from Patrick and Dylon. Alex says maybe a 7. Danny says 7.5. John Michael Presley says 8. Aaron says 7. John says 7. Adam says 6. So we're starting to kind of settle into, I think, where we are, which Ronnie says 7.4 and Jay says 7.5 and Josh says 7 through 8. So like, that's kind of where we are. Austin, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I would probably trend towards 7, not necessarily 8 or above. I think, and it's weird because I haven't been to a Titans game in 5 years. It's weird to say this, right? Because Zach, we do the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. So the last time I've been in that stadium during a regular season game was the 2016 season. And so in the 2016 season, there's been a lot that has changed since then, right? They've gone with now 6 consecutive winning seasons, back-to-back double-digit win seasons for the first time since Steve McNair was quarterbacking this team, and also have a chance to win the AFC South for back-to-back years for the first time ever. But, I think it's definitely at a 7. I do think probably in 2016, it was probably at a 4.5 or a 5. So maybe it's 7.5. I mean, that's kind of where I'm getting at right now.
It's not Adelphia's Coliseum, right? Like
no. And that's, I think why 10 is Adelphia Coliseum is because they won like their first 16 or 17 games in that building because it was false starts forced nonstop all over the place by offensive lines who could not hear. It was loud. It was great. And it just, because they were so bad for a 10-year period of when this city was changing. Like, it was bad timing to be bad and sucky, and also had the city really change quite a bit simultaneously. So that's I'm at a 7.5.
I kind of compare it, and that's called the initial juice, right? The surge, the old school drink surge that got you jacked up that they had to banish because kids were bouncing off the wall. That surge, I kind of compare it to the surge that Seattle got when they built their new stadium, right? And then drafted Russell Wilson. That was a true home field advantage. Adelphia Coliseum with Steve McNair and Eddie George and Frank Wycheck, Javon Curse, all those guys, that was a considerable home field advantage. The Titans do not have that. I don't claim that they have that, but I do think that the correct answer is 7. I think you hit it right there on the head. They are a consistent winning team and have been for now half a decade. There's value in that. They're now defending division champions. That kind of goes back to what we kind of felt when McNair was under center early on. And the lull period hurt them. And unfortunately, Austin, you kind of said it. During that lull period where they drafted Vince Young and Jake Locker and they were really bad, and ownership started to wane, right? Bud started to get older and eventually died. And then after he died, they didn't have a plan B. I don't know how their trust was set up, but the control of the trust did not have a smooth transition after Bud Adams passed away. Now, the good part, and sometimes this doesn't happen when people die, especially when rich people die. Usually you got people begging and trying to get the most out of it. I think they came to a solution where Amy Adams Strunk stepped up and said, look, I would like to be the controlling owner. They had grandkids. We kind of know a little bit more of the structure now, but it kind of settled into management. We run a business. The business is only as good as the top. The top has got to manage correctly for the business to run smoothly. And ever since Amy Adams Strunk did that, it started to kind of turn. Austin, we watched, and we weren't at the mainstay on Thursday, but in the comfort of our own house, from what we saw on the lower bowl, that was full. And it was a lot of blue. There was red there.
And I see it every game day. I see the tweets from every person in the press box says announced attendance is 69,000 plus change, a couple hundred, right? Which means sellout, full. That means full people. Everybody's there, right? The people showed up. And we're going to expect a full capacity crowd today for the Music City Bowl between Tennessee and Purdue. A lot of orange going to be there. But I feel like the fan base is in a really good point. Where you judge a fan base is what happens when it's not great. Because 6 consecutive winning seasons, it's easy to jump on in winning season number 4, 5, and 6 in a row. It's harder to stay on.
That's how you build it.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to forecast. I'm curious to see what happens because all winning streaks come to an end. All good things at some point have an expiration date, and the Titans at some point will have to rebuild, cut expensive players, get younger, and then, try to reset, right?
There are a few franchises that haven't had to go through that.
Yes, they've been very lucky, right?
Like Packers, Steelers, Patriots, they haven't had to reset.
Sure, and those are unique situations. Most teams have to reset, and we'll find out what the Titans are now that they're well run. Now that the Titans are well run, what does that reset look like? And what percentage of the growing fan base hangs on through that reset, right?
I judge a fan base, honestly, the opposite the way that you do. I judge a fan base on how many people actually jump on the bandwagon because that is the fans, right? That is, you try to find your ceiling, though. No, you try to find your ceiling.
Yeah, but you want to find your P1s, right? Your season ticket holders, your guys.
As a business, but as a fan base, I want to judge them based on if they make a Super Bowl run this year, and let's say the Chiefs lose to the Bengals this week, the Titans win out, and they get the number 1 seed. Whoever they play in the divisional round of the playoffs, it will be at Nissan Stadium. Austin, that is how I will judge where the fan base is at. And the reason why, and I think you were there in 2008 when they played the Ravens at home, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah, in the divisional round. Yep.
I don't classify many stadiums like this. Austin, all of those baby blue towels waving,
great.
That was electric.
Yeah.
that is where the fan base can be. That is closer to the 10. That was like a 9, right? The Adelphia Coliseum thing is going to be hard to recreate because of that surge that I talked about. But Austin, if they get the number 1 seed and they host whoever in a home playoff game, now the juice, that surge starts to come out. And I think that Titans fans here in Nashville, whether you're a transplant or not, would buy up the tickets.
But that's a fever. That's a fever, right? And fevers come and go. And the Preds had a fever a couple of years ago, and it's gone. Fever's over. Back to normal.
I disagree with that. The Preds killed their fan base with some of their
decisions,
mandates. So
yeah, well, and they got too big for their britches and tried to go just jack up the prices.
Nobody's going to go get a negative test to go to a regular season.
They did that before, game. Zach. Their fever ended and they jacked up prices before any of that. So the point is,
you couldn't enter the game if you didn't have a fever.
Zach, the point is, I mean, you just don't understand the point that I'm trying to make, right? Is whenever you have the surge and you catch stride and you're the hottest talk of the town, it's where's normal after that ends. And maybe the Titans normal is here, a surge puts them here, and then new normal is right there. That's good. As long as you build what that new base is and then allow another fever pitch to come through and you keep building. But it's easy to grow fans when you're the best thing around. But what's your sustainable fan base growth? And the Preds have shown that a cup playoff run is really fun for a summer. And it might have a great impact the following year, but once they stopped having that type of success, it bottomed back down in 2018, 2019.
Well, it's up to management and ownership to not allow it to bottom down like it did.
And the Titans are well run right now. So,
yeah, and
so
they
you
are.
Trust the fact that it's not going to bottom out like it did 10 years ago.
Well, and that's why I think I and a lot of Titans fans got so upset at what Logan Ryan said, is because where are the Titans now, right? They're starting to get back to where they were. And so to take shots at where they were didn't really make any sense. I thought it was just the timing was very curious, because I think we've come to the conclusion, Austin, the Titans fan base right now is at a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a realistic assessment. I think that's why I value the chat. I value our community. I'm not going to sit here and say you guys are non-existent. You guys are existent. You guys follow and like and share and do all that other stuff. But I also think that you're intelligent. 7 is the correct answer. We polled the chat. The conclusion was right around a 7. They didn't say 10. Like some fan bases, where would the Giants say right now? They're 4-win team. I don't know. I don't look at,
Probably a 4.
I don't know if they would admit that.
Well, I mean, I did see that currently you can get a ticket to the Giants game for $15. The cheapest ticket for the Titans game is $104. So
yeah, Logan Ryan, that guy.
All right, so we've got a lot of stuff going on today, guys. A lot of stuff. So hold tight, because we're about to give everybody an opportunity to have free breakfast throughout the weekend, right? That sounds good. Everybody wants free
breakfast. Yes. This is not, we're not just having water and oatmeal in your microwave breakfast. This is not that.
Yes, that is correct. But real quick, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine go-to. So make sure you check them out, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for everything injury-related. They've got over a dozen doctors there at the facility in Franklin that specialize in any type of joint injury that you might have. So trust them with your health, get back to it. They also got satellite campuses in Brentwood, Thompson Station, and in Nolensville. So go where the pros go and go where we trust. That's Zach and I go there, boneandjointtn.org.
Don't forget, we talked about the Titans this Sunday, high noon, the mainstay, home games. We broadcast live. We're going to be there right across from Nissan Stadium as the Titans take on the Miami Dolphins in kind of a must-win situation if they want to wrap up this division. Come hang out with us pre-game, post-game. We've got you covered right there, right before the Titans game.
All right, A to Z Sports here live on this Thursday show. Almost forgot the day of the week. It is almost 2022, by the way. So we have a lot of things going on today, Zach. So right after this show, we are going to head down the Nissan Stadium because the Vols and Purdue are playing in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. And so we have a tailgate going on with 104.5 The Zone. Buck Rising will be live with his show starting at 10 a.m. So check that out. Gate 1 by the Pro Shop. That is where we will be. You'll see the A to Z sports tent, the big blue tent for us. You'll see the Zones tent as well. Buck Rising will be live, and we'll all be hanging out there. But, Zach, we have a lot of fun things happening. So today, normally the A to Z Sports Picks show is Fridays at 2, but with the Music City Bowl today, we want to get the Vols audience and you guys a chance to win some money with the Tennessee-Purdue game. So A to Z Sports Picks at 1 p.m. Central Time today with Alan Bell and Brian Edwards. Then at 2 o'clock, we've got our guys, Charlie Burris, Jonathan Crompton. They're not just doing a halftime and post-game show like they've done all season long. They're going live for the entire game. Full game live stream watch party on the channels you're watching right now, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We'll have our Twitter involved. It's going to be, we have a producer Reed from Prime Times helping out with everything. We've got a lot of different sponsors on it. We want to thank all of our great sponsors that are along for this. The Pancake Pantry, we'll talk about them in a second. Compost Nashville, compost.nashville.com. Also, Farm Bureau Health Plans. We'll talk more about them next week in the new year. And we've got our friends at the Bento Living Chestnut Hill Hotel who gave 2 nights free and a pair of tickets to the game to Patrick Bishop this week. So here's what we've got going on. The game starts at 2. We'll be tailgating all morning long. Charlie and Crompton are going live. The main thing is we all get free pancakes if Tennessee scores 30 points or more. So free stack of pancakes at the Pancake Pantry. They just opened their brand new downtown location on 3rd and Malloy, right next to downtown, right next to the mouth of the pedestrian bridge, Zach. So if Tennessee scores 30 points or more against Purdue today, free stack of pancakes for all of you guys. You have to use the code Vols Pancakes, and that goes through Sunday. So the best thing about this, you get Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning before the Titans game. If you're going to the Titans game, get to the Pancake Pantry downtown early. Get your free pancakes with Vols Pancakes. If they score 30, then go tailgate, go to the Titans game against the Dolphins at noon. We're setting you guys up to have a fantastic New Year's weekend in Nashville. So here's the question. What percentage chance do you think that Tennessee will score 30 points or more today?
Look, I think it's a great promotion. I think it's a high chance. I think they will score 30. I'm going 100%. I'll go 99.9 because of the game, because you never know, they could get injury. So I'll leave the 0.1 for injury. But these bowl games have been, not great. I don't know if I watched the last play of Iowa State last night, and Purdy, the quarterback, man, you hate that. You got the first down and fumbled. But I think that UT will score more than 30 points, and I think pancakes will reign all weekend for Nashvillians everywhere at the Pancake Pantry.
Danny said they might score that in the first half. And Dom says, give me some mother freaking flapjacks. That's right. And so real quick, flapjacks, but you flip them. So I don't know.
Flapjacks.
You flip flapjacks for pancakes. So Mel asks, is that only for the downtown location? So the Pancake Pantry has 2 locations. The new one is downtown on 3rd and Malloy. And then they have the Hillsborough Village location that's been there for 60 years. So they will accept the Vols Pancakes code for both locations. So Vols Pancakes, if Tennessee scores 30 or more, you get a free stack of buttermilk pancakes.
It's a good deal. I've been to Pancake Pantry many a morning, and I always, Austin, anytime we go eat breakfast, have a breakfast, what do I get? I get pancakes.
You do. You're a pancake guy.
I gotta have and they have some. It's a top 1 to 2 to 3 pancakes. The stack of pancakes is different than the singular big pancake. They have a stack, and it is dynamite.
this is the Nashville stack. Pancake Pantry's got big ideas. And I love talking to their ownership a couple weeks ago with our sales guy, Andrew, here in town. And we're excited about this. We really are. I think it's going to be a really cool relationship with us and the Pancake Pantry moving forward. So again, 30 points or more. So why did I picked 30? This is me. I did the math on this. So somebody says Purdue doesn't play defense. Purdue's actually top 20 scoring defense in the country.
Wow.
Now they only give up 21 points a game. The Vols score 38 points a game. What's in the middle of 21 and 38? 30. So that's where I was like, okay, this 30 points is going to be interesting. Tennessee has scored 30 points or more in 8 of their 12 games this year. So based off of that, you're saying 75% chance that it'll hit. But add in Purdue is without their best pass rusher, also without their best cornerback. Tennessee is only missing offensively Cade Mays. That's it. Hooker's playing, Jabari Small's playing, Velus Jones Jr.'s playing, the other offensive lineman, Cedric Tillman's coming back. So you've got all this offensive firepower to go out there and score 4 touchdowns and a field goal. And they've scored 28 points in the first quarter twice this year. And so they have an opportunity to get this thing by halftime. So I say 85% chance that we're all getting free pancakes this weekend.
What is is there an over-under team total on BetMGM?
I looked this morning. They're not putting it up there because they don't want to lose money. Because it would have to be probably, like
it'd be
40,
30 plus.
It would their team total would probably have to be like 35 and a half or something.
Yeah,
36, right? Because they just score so much.
Well, there you go. Free pancakes over 30. Just go to Pancake Pantry this weekend, say Vols pancakes, and they'll serve them up right.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, it is time to wrap up this Thursday show. We are getting set to head down to Nissan Stadium. That's gate 1 by the Pro Shop for our tailgate with the Zone and A to Z Sports. So look for our blue tent. You'll see it. It's pretty bright and blue, a bunch of orange. So we'll be down there momentarily. But time for the Magic Bucket to wrap up this Thursday. Real quick, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where 1 15-minute workout equals 5 or more hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. Again, it's great. It's 15 minutes of full body electronic muscle stimulation. It makes you stronger, builds muscle mass, targets hard to burn body fat, and doesn't hurt those joints that might have old injuries from lifting weights or playing sports. Mandu.com. Your first workout's free. And if you tell them A to Z Sports sent you, they'll take $100 off your first month when you sign up.
Like Austin said today, you may go to the game, you may not go to the game, but if you are going to the game, before the game, come hang out with us. Gate 1, right by the Pro Shop. So if you're familiar with Nissan Stadium, you know exactly where that is. The Zone will be broadcasting live in the next several hours, and then we will be there hanging out. So come join us. Gate 1, right before the Music City Bowl, Tennessee, Purdue. That's live from Nashville, Tennessee.
It is time for the Magic Bucket here on the show. I had to pull it out because I almost forgot to do that this morning. So, Magic Bucket here on the show. Zach, you have your sticker for the day. So I am ready for your sticker when you have your sticker ready.
I think I have the perfect sticker for today.
Good.
And this is something that if you've watched this show over the course of several years, even dating back to radio, I've stood by one thing. And if BetMGM gives me the opportunity to put any money down, I'm taking it. I'm taking this bet. And especially because of what has happened in the last couple of years. This year, all the stuff that I've been complaining about, that we've had to talk about with COVID and all that other stuff. It's time for greatness, Austin. And it's time for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to be president.
That's a big sticker. I don't know if we have room for that.
I have said this. I believe that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will be the president of the United States at some point in my lifetime. I'm 34 years old. I believe
he's probably going to die before you. So,
well, that's why I said. That's why I said what I said. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president. I think he would do a better job than what we currently have. Not to get into politics, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
All right, there you go. I mean, Do we need a new bucket? Look at this thing. Look at it. There's no space. And that's the second bucket. We already got this bucket that's full too. All right. Who am I pulling for first?
Me.
Okay. Oh, well, all right. You have to just wear an A to Z hat on the next show.
I can absolutely do that. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I'll wear my specialty hat too.
That sucks. Why couldn't I have pulled that? All right. Next one for me. All right. So this is a one I got to do right now. So I have to give my best NFL head coach impression.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
That is good.
Did I make that up? I guess
you had to have, because everything that you made up are cut small. I cut them with a whole wide paper just so I can't tell a difference in long ones and short ones. That's what she said. But anyway, so the best impression of NFL head coach. What can I do here? I got to think about who I want to channel.
You may butcher this, but John Madden would be good. But I don't know. Again, it's hard. You can't tell. You can't influence people to do impressions that they can or cannot do.
Well, it's more about and Jerome says do Vrabel. And that's the thing. I haven't watched that many press conferences in a while.
We don't have enough beat buttons.
Do Madden. I haven't watched Madden in a long time, so it's really hard to do this. Dang it. This is really tough to be put on the spot here.
Welcome to the Magic Bucket.
I know, right? All right. So Vrabel, I'd start by putting both my palms on the podium to press up like this, and just to show how broad my shoulders are and how big my chest is. Luke, that's I don't know what kind of question that is. I don't know what you're trying to go for, but we try to coach the game. We try to go out there and execute. Sometimes the players don't execute, and it's not the coach's fault. It's the players' fault. So, we might have to get new players in the offseason. Shane's doing the best job he can. So we got to coach better. We got to play better. But that's not something I can answer right now, Luke. And that's all I got. I haven't watched anything recently. It's really bad.
Valiant effort.
Bad effort. I don't like the effort.
Boom. Yeah, I think you could have done.
I haven't watched him I haven't watched him recently. It's just a weird thing. I haven't had to do that in a while. So anyway, all right, we got to get rolling because we got a lot of stuff to do. We will see you guys at 10 o'clock down there, gate 1 by the pro shop. We will see you later on shortly. And then a lot of time. Just remember, 1 o'clock, A to Z Sports Pick Show, 2 o'clock, A to Z Sports Vols Bowl live stream watch party. So get ready for that. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.